Hello, MotoAmerica fans. Welcome to this latest edition of Off Track and with Carruthers and Bice. I am Sean Bice, content manager. I'm joined by, as always, by Paul Carruthers, our communications manager. And for this week, we're talking to a young man who's been with us for quite a few years, and he's moved up some of the classes, and he's actually racing in a couple classes this year. It's Dominic Doyle, who races for Giaccmoto Yamaha Racing in both the SC Project USA Twins Cup and also the Mission Super Hooligan National Championship. Dominic, welcome. I'm going to guess, are you in Iowa?
Indiana.
Indiana. I got my eyes states wrong. Anything west of Ohio, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm close to you. I'm not too far from you.
Yeah, you're not as far as I thought you were away. Are you anywhere near Indianapolis at all?
Yeah, like 45 minutes south of Indianapolis in
Oh,
Columbus.
Yeah, you're in Columbus, Indiana, and I'm like a half
Yep.
hour from Columbus, Ohio. So
Yep.
that's right. You're not too far from the Haydens, I don't think either, right? Over in Kentucky.
I think it's about 3 hours.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Indiana's funny. They sometimes fly out of some airport in the southern part of Indiana. You may know what that is. I don't know what it is, but um, yeah,
No, no.
I'm not sure either. So, well, anyway, welcome. Glad you're here. We've been wanting to get you on for a while. One of the things I want to ask you right off the bat, Liberty Street. I don't know what that is, so you got to tell us about that a little bit, if you would.
It's a development company in Savannah, Georgia that's helping out the team this year. So super excited to have them on board.
That's cool, and that's where obviously Chuck Giacchetto and Giaccmoto Racing is based. So, do you consider this next round at Road Atlanta or your home race a little bit?
Yeah, kind of like a team home race. I'd say Mid Ohio is probably more of a home race because it's the closest one that I have to where I live now. But I guess they none of them are really home races.
Right. Right, that's true. Although if we went to Indianapolis again, that'd be nice, but I don't know if it'll
Yeah,
ever happen. But yeah, I remember last year you went to Vintage Motorcycle Days. I think you were testing the Super Hooligan bike up there, as I recall, right? And you had some involvement maybe with Yamaha because they were there as well.
yeah, yeah. We're just testing at the Weir days, and that was pretty cool. That event is like huge, and I haven't really seen anything like it before. So yeah, that was cool. We got some testing in before the hooligan round there. So
That's good.
We were talking a little bit before we went on. He had a pretty dang good little Daytona there. I mean, 3 out of 4 podiums with the Twins Cup bike, and the one time it was the bike that let him down. Is when I see you now, I've always thought you were fast. I think now you maybe have more patience. Like you don't like I think you've learned that like if you've only got the pace to get second, then it's better to get second than it is to crash. Am I correct in that?
yeah, for sure. We had a couple races. Not last year was a little better, but the year before where we just either crashed out or just try to go for something that wasn't really realistic. So I've learned to calm down on that side of things and kind of just have more of a thought process about it, and it's working out pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, if you look at Daytona and going forward from there and Barber, I mean, you have a good opportunity here to contend for that championship the entire season.
yeah, definitely, that's the plan. Last year, that's what we were trying to do. But this year, I think we've got a bit of a better shot at it. We've got some good guys on the team helping me, and then I'm also like working with Champ School, doing some coaching stuff with them, and just to get some a little bit more like method behind everything's like awesome, and it's just given me like a little bit of an extra key for the season. So yeah, that's been really helpful.
Yeah, Dominic, how does it work with that champ school? I mean, do you instruct as well as kind of learn some things and get some seat time? Is it kind of both for you with that school?
Yeah, so for the most part, it's been mostly coaching them, just kind of helping me in certain areas, and then I have started like instructing a little bit, and I'm trying to get into that side of things a little more because I feel like it does help to like speak it and like try and teach other people because it definitely benefits my riding as well.
Hmm. So you raced at our last round at Barber in SC Project Twins Cup, and now you're going to be racing in Super Hooligan at Road Atlanta. I mean, it's kind of cool in some ways, I guess, that you don't have. And you can tell us, are there some rounds this year where you're going to be racing Twins Cup and Super Hooligan at the same round? Of course, you did it at Daytona.
Yeah.
So are you going to do it going forward? I can't remember what rounds that would be.
Yeah, it'll be I think just the Ridge and Laguna.
Okay.
Both West Coast rounds are double duty, so that'll be tough, but I'm looking forward to it. The extra track time will be good for both. So
Yeah,
Well,
it's probably. Go ahead, Paul. Sorry.
when we've talked to people that are doing multiple classes, they seem to think that the more different the bikes are, the easier it is to do that. So you've got
Yeah.
two bikes that are pretty different.
uh-huh.
Do you think that's true? I mean, is it? I think if the bikes are too close together, then you're like, what's what,
Yeah, I feel like it definitely helps maybe a little more like getting off the Hooligan and onto the Twin, because the Hooligan's a bit faster, and I mean they're not too different. Or actually, they are. The Hooligan's quite a bit faster. But yeah, I think it definitely helps getting off the Hooligan and getting on the Twin. It's like riding something smaller, and you can kind of wring its neck. So
It's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny because, sorry, Sean.
That's
It's
okay.
funny because when you think of the two classes, you would assume the Twins are faster,
yeah,
but that's just not the case.
no,
And it's,
like we went like pretty damn fast at Daytona on those Hooligans. I think I got the race lap record at like a 52
You
something,
did?
which
Yeah.
is not that, I mean, not if you think of it, not that far off what the 600s were doing. Um, and you're on like a naked Hooligan, so it's pretty, we're going pretty fast, and I'm kind of excited to see what we can do at Atlanta.
Yeah, it's funny about Atlanta. I'm sure you know this, Dominic. So people, I mean, I think people do think of that as a fast, a high-speed track, but the straightaway there is one of the fastest our bikes get up to at any of the rounds. I mean, it's amazing about Road Atlanta that there's a section there that really does top out pretty well. So that'll be good for you just like at Daytona. Is it weird to ride that bike being that it's naked, and especially at Daytona when you don't really have anything to tuck behind?
I mean, I've been riding it since I rode it a bit last year, so I'm kind of used to it at this point. I kind of like it. It's not too bad. Your head will shake around a little bit, but it's nothing too serious.
Yeah.
you work on those neck lifts,
I should, but I don't. I haven't
or you
really
just
been-
say yes a lot.
Yeah, I just say yes a lot.
So Dom, I talked to you a little bit. I guess it was it was at Daytona about the bike. I'm going to give away a trade secret about the MT-09. So the hot setup for the MT-09 is to put an XSR 900 fuel tank on it because the profile is lower. So you can get lower and it doesn't have a fairing on it. So the lowest you can get and get under that paint is the best way to go. I'm sure most of the Yamaha riders do realize that at this point. It seems like some of them, other than you guys, do have that tank on it. But that is the case with that bike. It's just the profile's a little better on that tank.
Yeah, and it's more of like a race bike tank. It's a lot thinner, where the stock MT tank's like pretty big and wide and a little bit awkward. So yeah, the XSR tank's we've been running that just this year. We ran the MT tank last year, but it's quite a lot better, and it just feels more right.
Yeah. Now I'm going to drop a name here for a second. Kevin Cameron told me one time that it's more important that the aerodynamics on the back of a bike are more important than the front, which surprises me a lot. But you guys have a tailpiece, a pretty special tailpiece on that bike. And at Daytona, I mean, they use all kinds of anti-draft things. I mean, the old TZs, they used to have a kind of a pointed tail section. That bike comes to a point at the end. Is that something you're going to run all the time? Is that a piece that's custom made for you guys? I mean, I don't know. Does anybody else have that part?
I'm not 100% sure. They did quite a bit of development like over the off season with that thing. So like they've got a bunch of new parts, like the tail section, where last year we were just running the stock seat. But yeah, I mean, the bike's like really comfortable, a lot more comfortable this year, and a lot faster and a lot more competitive. So yeah, I think we will be running that the whole season. But
Okay. And I have to ask you, what the hell happened with Jake Lewis in that one race? Was that insane or what?
yeah, he passed us like we were standing still. I kind of got boxed in coming to the finish line. Like I was in a decent spot for the draft, and I mean it's my first time like really racing close with those guys, and so I've got to kind of earn my keep a little bit. So they kind of just boxed me in, and I kind of got the short end of the stick, which wasn't. I mean, I was really happy with finishing sixth and just being in the battle with those guys. So yeah, looking forward to racing with them a little more closely at the next couple Hooligans rounds.
Yeah.
Which bike's more fun to race, the Twin or the Hooligan?
I've been racing the Twin for a good couple years now, so the Hooligan's just a bit of a change and it's faster. So I'd say that probably the Hooligan's more fun.
And you finally got rid of this Rocco Landers kid, right? Like he finally leaves and goes on because I know you finished second to him a lot. And then
Yep.
now you've got this other kid. It's always
Demario?
it's always
Yeah.
somebody, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of them this year. Like Matthew Chapin's riding really well. At Daytona, he was kind of a thorn in our side,
Yeah.
winning both those races. But it was like really close racing at Daytona, and same thing at Barber. I had a problem in the dry, so I didn't really get to realize my full potential in that race. But the wet race was good. But yeah, we're just gonna have to keep chipping away at it and trying to beat these guys.
And looking at the results, before we got started here this morning, it's like the rain is when you seem to really excel. Is that it? Why is that? I mean, you're from South Africa. I'm not sure it rains there every day.
I'm really not sure. I haven't. It's not like I've ridden in the rain like a bunch. It's just something that I feel decently comfortable in, and like not pushing the limit, but like just trying to stay within the limit. And yeah, I don't know. There's no real reason why I've really done good in the rain, but like now that I do have the confidence that I can go out there and be like one of the quicker guys in the wet.
So you're hoping for rain.
No, I wouldn't even say that. Like it goes well, but like I'd rather be able to say or get a couple of dry wins this year, because last year we got 2 wins in the wet and those were my only wins. So I'd like to get to click off a couple dry ones this year.
So going into Atlanta, so Dominic, you've seen this. There are 46 riders in the entry list. There were a ton at Daytona. They're instituting these rules where you have to be within a certain percentage, 2% of the fastest. And for you guys, you're going to be in two different groups. I'm going to guess you're probably going to be in the A group, which is the faster group. Does any of that bother you? The fact that you got to go fast from the beginning, because you got to not only be in that percentage, but you also, you want to be fast, and I think you want to do that in any session. So does it even affect you at all that they're going to have two different groups in this percentage issue?
No, not really. I'm pretty confident that like I'll be fast enough to qualify. I'm more worried about like where I am in that like top five. That's like the main goals. Kind of want to just be fast off the bat out of practice, and we did a little bit of testing at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, so I think we'll be pretty set. But yeah, looking to be like towards the front.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess you are happy to have a smaller group. You'd rather be in a group of, say, 20 some than 46 out on the track, because that's just a crazy amount of riders. So you're probably in favor of this rule for
Yeah,
Atlanta?
definitely, and definitely being in the faster group with the faster guys helps out a bit, just so you can like string some clean laps together. Sometimes when there's so many guys out there and the speed differences are so big, it's kind of sketchy, and you've got to like abort a bunch of laps because you catch a slower guy here or a slower guy there. So I think the faster group and slower group is definitely an awesome idea.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do it at every track, but we'll certainly do it at that track. I guess it's just the nature of, even though it's got the fast straightaways, it's a technical track too. So it's good that you're not going to get hung up in those corners, I guess. So that's real good.
I brought it up a little bit quickly here with your South African, I guess, citizenship still, right? Do you
Yeah.
do you go back a lot, or have you gone back at all? Or are you pretty much permanently here?
I'm permanently here. The last time I've only been home once on holiday, and that was the end of 2023. Give me one second.
It's the UPS man.
No, it's my stepdad looking for
Oh,
me.
sorry. Didn't mean to call him that. Okay. Sorry about that, Dad.
Oh wait, what was the question? My bad.
Oh, you talked about going back to South Africa, that you've been there
Oh,
once.
yeah, yeah. So the last time I went was the end of 2023. So I haven't really been able to go back as much as I'd like because, like, I guess COVID affected it and a bunch of things. But I want to go again at the end of this year, so that should be good.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with you, Dominic. I mean, Matthew Skoltz, gosh, this year he went home and stayed for a super long time. And I get it, his family's over there, his wife's family's still over there. But I mean, your family's here, your mom's here, you're in Indiana, she's in Indiana. So a lot of it, you're kind of based here. And it seems like, are you going to become a U.S. citizen at some point, or are you working on it already?
Yeah, I've got it. I'm a permanent resident, so I
Okay,
should be able to apply for my citizenship at the end of this year.
okay.
Um, I would like to go to South Africa more often. My dad does still live in South Africa,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and he'll come out to some rounds. He's coming to Atlanta, so that'll be pretty cool.
Oh, good. So he'll be at this next round. I've never met him before, I don't think. So I didn't realize he was in South Africa. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay. That's cool. And you like that track. You're a fan of Road Atlanta, I'm sure. Most of the riders seem to really enjoy it.
yeah. Last year on the Twin, we had a pretty good race in the dry and the wet. We had a wet win there last year on the Twin, but the dry race was pretty competitive. There was like a four rider battle for the lead with Gus, Rocco, and Alessandro. So I feel pretty confident heading into Atlanta.
Now, we also mentioned prior to getting started that you had off-season shoulder surgery, which we didn't know about.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
that surgery the result of one crash or just a bunch of little things over the years?
One crash at Daytona in the Hooligans race. I coming out of the battle turn behind Debrino and Hunter, and Debrino had that pretty big high side, and Hunter kind of collected him, and then I hit Hunter's back, and just the way that I landed on the banking, my right arm had less like space to travel, and it like just jolted the shoulder, and like I tore my labrum, and then it would like pop out of place and pop back into place in like one kind of movement pretty frequently. Um, but after that Hooligans race, I had to like go straight to the medics. They kind of like popped it in, and then I had the Twins Cup race like directly afterwards, and then I had to start that one from the back of the grid, and we got second. So like, that was a pretty cool story. And then I just kind of rode the rest of the season with the shoulder like that, and waited to get the surgery at the end of the year.
Was the rehab from that difficult or just time?
I'd say mostly just the time thing. I haven't had many big surgeries in the past. Um, but yeah, just getting the full range of motion and gaining all the strength back. Like, it wasn't 100% going into Daytona. I was just trying to get it like as best as I could, and it's pretty decent when I'm riding. I'm just like searching for that last little bit of range of motion and strength.
Yeah, Dominic, I want to ask you about the dynamic within your team because you're one of the most chill riders I've ever seen in my life, and one of the most chill people. I mean, I'll go into your area and you're sitting there, and sometimes I don't even know you're there because you're kind of in the back and I have to look for you. Whereas if Chuck Giacchetto's in there, you go anywhere near that place, you can hear him before you get there. He has kind of chilled his jets a little bit the past couple of years, and I know you got a solid team around you with Don and the rest of the guys. Don's pretty low key too, although he's great when you start talking to him and get a conversation going. But what is it like within that team? Are you guys, because you had mentioned to Paul that you get a little, I don't know, worked up when you're on the track and you can't even tell with you. I mean, maybe you could tell the way you ride, but certainly not the way you are. in your mannerisms. So would you say you're a pretty calm person?
Yeah, for the most part. I guess some things can get me a little worked up, but like for the most part, if I'm just hanging out in the pit, like not on the track or don't have anything to really be worked up about, I'm pretty chill for the most part.
Yeah, and how much input do you give that team in terms of, you ride it. So I don't know, do you get very involved in the, more of the technical aspects of either of the bikes? It's certainly not superbike level with electronics and things, but there are some things you
Yeah.
can do. Suspension, do you give them pretty solid input, or is it more like, and I'm not saying this isn't solid, but for you to say, it's doing this in a corner, you're making these thing movements instead of saying,
Yeah.
well, it might need more preload or more ride height. Do you get involved in any of that stuff?
Mhm. For the most part, it's just trying to tell them what the bike's doing. We've got Ryan Burke on board this year doing my electronics, so that's been a big help. Like just gaining the relationship between telling him what it's doing and then what he can actually see on the computer. So it's been pretty good and a good learning experience with him. So I think that's a big plus this year.
Yeah, it's been interesting too because Ryan was kind of a quasi teammate of yours a couple of years ago. He was kind of under the tent with Westby as you were, but kind of off to the side a little bit. And
Yeah,
he raced, I think it was Stock 1000, and now he's, that surprised me when I saw him involved. And it's cool that you've got somebody that obviously rode as well and
yeah,
understands electronics. That's got to help, right? There are so many riders or so many technicians on our paddock that also either rode or still ride. It's cool that can happen. That's you got to appreciate that kind of input, right?
yeah, for sure. It definitely helps a lot that he's been there, kind of done that. Just like talking about things, he can kind of explain things a little better to me. So yeah, it's a huge help having him on the team, and I'm lucky to have him.
Now
That
we've
Go
had you
ahead.
since I couldn't believe this either. When I looked it up, it's like 2017. I guess you did a wild card ride at Road America,
Yeah.
and we've had you ever since. What and we probably talked about this in an earlier conversation, but what led to being in South Africa and then deciding you wanted to come to Moto America? Was there steps in between?
Yeah, so I did one before that in 2016, a KTM Cup wildcard at New Jersey. Um, Basically, my mom moved to the US and so did my brother, and I stayed back in South Africa with my dad and carried on racing there kind of until there was something for me to come to. So my mom got me the two wildcard rides and then got me a Ninja 400, which I raced the last 3 rounds of 2018, I think. But that was like when I came over, like they were already here for like 3 years. I stayed home with my dad and carried on racing kind of until there was something for me to like come to.
Yeah, that's cool. So you came into something that was already kind of settled.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Do you miss racing in South Africa at all? I mean, I've heard some stories from Matthew Skoltz about when he raced Super GP or any of that stuff. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of riders from South Africa involved with us and elsewhere in the world too. Do you miss racing over there?
I do. Also, I was like 15, 16, so
Yeah.
it's been a while. But yeah, I do. I miss the tracks and I miss the people, but it also has gotten quite a bit smaller since I left. So, I mean, I'm definitely blessed to be over here racing in the MotoAmerica Championship. Um, I definitely wouldn't have the same opportunities that I do here there.
Yeah, do you know, Dominic? I mean, you've dipped your toe in the past in super sport, and I mean this MT-09 is, well, it's not an R9, but it's essentially that bike
Yeah.
in a different guise. So, are you? I assume it's maybe you're going to move up at some point to super sport again, and maybe more involvement in that as you go.
I definitely love another shot at Supersport. Because I raced that 1 year of Supersport like straight off of Junior Cup, and then kind of went back to twins after that. And then I've done like a couple wild cards like with Disrupt. But I definitely love another shot at it. But I mean, I'm super grateful to be racing both Twins Cup and Hooligan, so I can't really complain there. So
Right.
like if that was the same offer again for next year, I'd I'd do rather do that than sitting on the couch. So, but yeah, Super Sport would definitely be. It would be really awesome to get another shot and see where I stack up, especially with how stacked it is this year.
Yeah, and you also seem to be pretty closely aligned with Yamaha at this point too. I mean, through obviously Giaccmoto Racing and Chuck. He's got they're based in Georgia where he is as well. I'm sure
Yeah.
all of that synergy helps you. So you kind of are a Yamaha rider at this point. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been with Chuck for the last couple of years now, and he's got a super good relationship with Yamaha, and they help us out a bunch. So yeah, I'm super grateful to be able to ride Yamahas for the last couple of years and have their support on the team.
It's good. It's so your next Twins Cup round is when?
The Ridge.
Wow.
Oh, Will?
Okay.
Wow. I didn't know it was
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's quite a stretch. That's almost the way it was with Super Hooligan last year when it seemed like forever
Yeah.
between rounds for that. It's kind of funny. It's a little bit the opposite at this point.
And Stock
And
1000 kind of falls into the same thing
yeah,
there. You know,
Yeah.
there's big gaps there too.
right.
Yeah. Luckily, we've got the Hooligan round in between now at Atlanta, and then we're doing the Loudon Classic, but with the Hooligan in that class. Like I think it's 2 weeks before the Ridge, so I'll be on the back a little bit like before then. So
So
Yeah.
in that big the Loudon race, is it everybody together and scored separately, or is it all different races?
no, it's two separate races. They've got like a Street Fighter class this year, and then the regular Classic. Um, so yeah, that should be good. There's some good money on the line. I've never been to Loudon or raced the track, so I've been watching a bunch of videos. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it though.
Well, I know Dom, you know this. So Chuck is an old school Loudon Road Racing Series guy from way back. He's from, I think, Beverly, Mass is where he's from, the North Shore, and I believe isn't Don from New England as well, or is he from New
I think
York?
John's from New York.
He
Yeah.
is from, well, he is a Giants fan. I should know that, but there are some Giants fans in New England. So, but yeah, East Coast. So I'm sure they're both, looking forward to that. Is their influence part of the fact that you're going to Loudon, or is it something you wanted to do, or kind of as a team decided?
I think we just as a team decided. Chuck mentioned it to me, and I mean, for sure, I was on board. So I guess it was their idea, and I'm all for it. So yeah.
Who is it in the paddock that you hang around with the most in terms of another rider, if you do? Do you hang around with any certain riders in your class and other classes at all?
Um, not really. I kind of
Yeah.
do my own thing on the weekends. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Chill.
mostly just hang out by myself at the track.
Yeah, I mean, I think people come by and see you for sure and check in on you guys quite a bit as well. But
Yeah.
I didn't know. I mean, you raced in Junior Cup for a while, and so many of these riders are moved up into other areas now. Yeah, I just wasn't sure, but I mean, it's
I
kind
mean,
of your name.
definitely like Jackson Blackman. I've been friends with him for the last couple of years, and he's not racing at the moment, but he's still in the paddock. So it's cool to have him around.
Yeah, man, when you say at the moment, I really wish he would race, but I'm
Yeah.
wondering the longer he stays away from it, and he's definitely doing a good job with his videographer stuff
Yeah.
too. I know he's very involved with that, so I figured he was one of the ones, and he seems it's amazing how many. I mean, we see, you probably may have noticed this when we were at Barber. I was surprised. I don't even recognize Dylan Deutschlander anymore, but he's working with I think Bodie Page.
Birdie Page. Yeah.
Yeah, who's well, he's Australian. What am I thinking? He's not South African, but it's kind of do you talk to him at all? I mean, it's been a while since
Yeah, a
he's
little
been
bit.
around. Okay.
I've seen
Yeah.
him around the last couple of years because I know he was doing stuff with like AFT, and then he was doing stuff with the Mini Cup, helping them set up. So yeah, I've known Dylan for a while, and it's cool to see him back around.
Yeah, I'm glad he's helping those guys out, but I mean, I didn't recognize him because, those guys, I mean, all of them grow pretty tall and I mean, you have too, but you've managed to, not be exceedingly tall. You're kind of a prototype rider in terms of your height and weight, I would say. And you think you've stopped growing at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I'm like
Yeah.
5'10", not too tall, not too heavy. So we'll hopefully keep it that way.
I'd say prototyping. And I understand before we joined, you were talking to Paul a little bit about, so you do a lot of bicycle riding as well?
Mostly running. I just
Oh,
I
Okay.
just did get a new bicycle, but mostly running.
I talked him into a bicycle.
Oh, good. That's good. Well, I'll tell you somebody else I need to talk with. Been a couple of years, and I mean we're still sad that he's not around. Is Dustin Apgar got you into training pretty hard, I think, at one point there, didn't he? He get you started in that a little bit?
Yeah, that was like the first like real team I was on. Most of the stuff with Dustin was on the bike stuff. He did get me like training in the gym a little bit, but over the last like year and a half, I've gotten into running quite a bit more. So I've done like a couple half marathons, and I'm trying to do a full at the end of this year. And it's just it's good for training, and I enjoy it. So yeah.
Don't you think it gives you an edge if you're racing with a guy and he knows you're in better shape than him and you know you're in better shape than him?
Yeah, it's just a little bit of an edge over them. So yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing to have. And when the laps are getting down to the end, I know that I have that little bit more in my tank. So
So up until fairly recently, Dominic, you were a South African living in Indiana, but working and kind of living in New York City of all places. But now
yeah,
you're back in Indiana. Do you have a job there? Are you working for somebody out there?
yeah. I mean, kind of not a full-time job, but I help my parents' company. They've got like a side business. It's microgreens. So I do all the
Oh,
deliveries to the restaurants, and I help with planting and cutting. So I do a bit of that on the side, and then I'm trying to get in, or I'm in kind of with champ school. So I've been doing a little bit more of
oh
that.
yeah, you mentioned that. Microgreens. So
Yeah.
did your mom and stepdad they bring that from South Africa over?
No, I don't really know how they thought about let's grow microgreens, but they did. It's kind of a little niche thing to do, but they've been doing it for like before, like since before I moved here. So uh, I try and help them with that because they both have full-time jobs, and then that
Oh,
try and run that business at the same time. So
So is
wow.
that, do restaurants buy it or stores or
yeah,
both?
yeah,
Okay.
mostly restaurants in like the Indianapolis, Bloomington area. So I'll do like the big delivery day is usually a Thursday. It's like 17 restaurants up in Indianapolis. So
That's cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
so what are microgreens? Name some of those vegetables.
Just like some micro vegetables like cilantro, basil, what
So
else?
so herbs and stuff.
Yeah,
Just herbs.
most vegetables you can think of, you can grow them like in like a
Smaller.
micro form, and then most restaurants just use them for like garnishing and to make their dishes look cool.
That's cool to have that connection. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, what the hell is parsley for? I mean, that stuff is ridiculous. I think they take it off a plate and put it on somebody else's plate because you don't need it the first time.
yeah,
But I don't know. I do know cilantro is a thing. Hey, I got to ask you, this is completely out of the blue. Paul may know this. You know, there are certain people that hate cilantro because it tastes like
yeah.
soap to them. Okay, you know
I'm
about this.
I'm not one of the soap. I'm not one of the soap guys. It doesn't taste like soap to me.
I've never heard that.
You haven't.
Uh-uh.
Some people can't
It's like
even
some people
deal with
have
it.
like I don't know. It's like a thing. Like they taste soap when they eat cilantro. It's
That's
yeah,
crazy. We have a lot of it here, obviously, with Mexican
yeah,
food and stuff,
yeah,
and I honestly don't notice it either way. I could live without it, you know.
yeah.
But yeah, that's I'm gonna have to pay attention to see if it tastes like
Soap.
soap.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like some kind of weird chemistry thing. And some people who don't like it absolutely hate it. Like
eat it.
they'll just
Yeah,
say, don't put cilantro in anything I
Wow,
have.
that's
So
that's
I
crazy.
and I guess if it tastes like soap, I can understand that. But okay, here's a wild one for you. Dominic, what is the favorite what is your favorite part about racing a motorcycle? So you got to single something out.
Mm, probably just going out and ripping some fast laps by myself is probably the most my favorite thing to do.
Hmm,
There's like a number of things, but like just being out there and just putting laps together is probably my favorite thing to do.
that's cool.
And you're faster on the Hooligan bike. It's a bigger bike. Certainly at Daytona. Were you aware of how fast you were going? Were you like, oh my God, I'm going really fast? Do you ever feel that way, or does it slow down for you because been racing for a while?
I would say it slows down a little bit. I mean, I feel like I'm going fast, but I'm not like, oh my God, like what am I doing? But yeah.
Yeah, you just want to go faster.
Yeah, you can always go faster. Like I can always feel like I'm doing something wrong or I can fix something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not always completely content with how fast I'm going.
So the R7, I mean, they both, I guess they're both under that, if you want to call it the masters of torque with Yamaha, but certainly that triple MT-09 engine is all about the torque and jumping out of the corner. And that's something that the guys in Supersport are really appreciative of this year compared to like the Ducati and the Suzuki 750, which is good for that. The R7 is probably more of a corner speed bike for you, right? So do you have to ride the two bikes differently?
Yeah, definitely with the R9 having a little bit more power, but the R7 does also have like a fair bit of like off the corner. So the R9's like, I mean, it's a lot faster, like top speed wise, and does have more torque, but the R7, yeah, you can kind of gets off the corner pretty good too. So I wouldn't say they're like that different to ride, but you do have to adjust some lines and use like a different gear selection. So that's probably the biggest thing, like hopping off one and then being like, okay, I've got to change to third here and not here.
Yeah. What do you like better, passing somebody on the brakes or passing somebody on the gas?
On the brakes, I mean, yeah, on the brakes.
You like to outbrake somebody going into a corner.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Is it because that's what you
I'll take
are?
either. I'll
Oh
take
yeah,
either.
right. If your bike could jump out of a corner and you could pass it on exit, you would do it, I'm sure. But that's cool. So, do you think that's a product of maybe racing in Junior Cup or anything that that was something you guys had to do a little bit, and certainly on the R7 in Twins, I mean, there's a lot of that as well, and racing in pack mentality a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's when you get into those situations when you're going into the corner with someone and you're like side by side and just like kind of a bit of a mental game, like I'm not going to break until you break. So, I mean, I think that's most of it. And just making someone else cave in.
That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's kind of a war of wills a little bit. Do you have, well, you run. Do you have extremely high willpower? Do you feel like you can outlast anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I could last. I'm not super like confident and say that I'm gonna outlast anybody, but like I mean, I like doing hard things, and when it gets tough, I kind of thrive. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it's because you're a badass South African. I mean, you guys it's crazy over there, isn't it? I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but it's not like that different. There are like, I guess, crazy things about it, but at the end of the day, it's like it's not that different.
It kind of gets a bum rap, I think, every time.
Yeah, I mean, I hear
people
about
have a vision of what it is, and it's not
Africa.
necessarily.
People have a vision of Africa, and then they just like put it with the whole continent, and instead of like separating countries.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and for me, I mean, I do tend to hear some stories, not from the riders, but maybe some of the parents of the riders. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Who tell me it's like the wild, wild west, but that's Peter Skoltz who tells me that. So, but he is a businessman over there, so he has to deal with a lot of different things.
I mean, they do have to deal with a lot of things that they probably shouldn't have to deal with. So,
yeah.
But just growing up there, I wouldn't say it's like that different.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but Indiana, I mean, I think Indiana's got a certain feel.
It's way different to Indiana, I'll tell you that.
Right. Yeah, but do you think, I mean, really, Dominic, do you think of Indiana as being a slow lifestyle? Do you actually feel that way about it?
Yeah, kind of.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at least Columbus, Indiana, it's not really not too much going on here. So it's
Right.
kind of home base and on the road a lot. So I'm not here all the time, which is kind of good because it's a little bit boring.
Yeah, I get it. And I mean, it kind of, your personality is pretty low key. So you got to fit in pretty well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess, I don't
He
really,
fit in anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't
you
really
could.
leave the house that much when I'm home, but I'm on the road like a fair amount. So I
Okay,
get
okay, we're getting towards the end. Let's talk about the girlfriend. How's that going, Dominic?
there's no girlfriend.
Oh, it's over. What the hell? See, whenever I ask you riders this based on what I think I know is happening, and then
You don't
I,
learn.
I knew this was coming. And
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
knew it was.
no girlfriend.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine. Now you can
Yep.
focus on your racing.
No
It's all
girlfriend.
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Well, okay.
all focused on the season. No distractions for sure.
Well, I mean, this is for people that watch our podcast, the fans. I mean, this quite
Now they
eligible
know.
young man with
Yep.
a gorgeous accent is coming into Road Atlanta to race a hell of a super. He's a super hooligan. How much more do you want than a super hooligan? So, boy, I haven't had that happen, Dom, in a while. But I did, and I thought I knew the answer better than that. I didn't check in with you at Barber. That was my problem. So,
Yep.
all right. Anything else you want to talk about? We discussed Liberty Street. We discussed your team, Giaccmoto Racing and Yamaha. So we covered a lot of that. You're feeling
One
good.
thing is I've got like a fundraiser thing going on this year.
Tell us about
raising
that.
money for humane societies across the country. So I started this thing called Racing for Rescues, and before each round I'll post a GoFundMe and then I'll take donations at the track. And I'm just raising money for the Humane Society, like in the county of the track that we're racing at. So each round I'm raising money for a different Humane Society. So appreciate
cool.
all the support.
Do you have pets of your own, Dom, at home?
Yeah.
You have dogs? Couple
I've got a
dogs?
dog, and my mom's kind of a cat lady, so we do have a fair amount of those.
Hey, cats are cool. We had cats, but now we have a dog. Yeah.
We have 4 of them, and I don't think she's stopping anytime soon. So
You better lock your door.
yeah.
You know-
I'm not trying to get attacked at night.
Roger Hayden is quite a cat fancier. Did you know that?
Yeah, actually, I was listening to the Superbike preview, and I think there was a cat jumped up or something. I heard you guys talk about it.
Yes, there was. So, well, that's awesome. Well, Dominic, thanks for being on with us, man. Sorry to put you on the spot with that end thing, but
you're good. You're good.
Okay. All right. Well,
Way to
listen.
find out.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to I need to keep abreast of what's going on with this stuff with you, because you're so quiet. You don't come over and go, hey, it's all over between me and that other person.
Nobody does that.
You're right. Nobody does.
Nobody
do that.
says, "Oh, did you know I?"
I'll be sure to let you know next time, Sean.
Yeah, please check in with me. I need
keep
to
you
keep
updated.
tips. Please do that. All right. Thanks a lot, Dom.
All right,
All right,
we'll
thanks,
see you
guys.
next week, guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right.